So everybody has had or have seen homeless people around their city or around their town, and you've always wondered how someone could become homeless and how they could end up living on the street. So there's a lot of reasons why people become homeless, but one of the main causes is income inequality and economic inequality. So basically what this is when someone's working or in a lower class than the higher class, that they don't get as much money as someone doing the same job, or someone that also works in the same field as them. So income inequality is more than just how much money is in your bank account. It's about how much wealth you could establish and make for yourself, because a lot of people in the higher class spend money to make money, and usually their money is getting greater because they don't have to look at it as much. And the wealth distribution between jobs and how people get money and all that other sort of stuff. And the income distribution is a real problem because of the free market system or free market capitalism that is running the USA, which is basically the stock markets and how anybody could start a stock or anybody could buy a stock. And this leads to higher prices because of the stocks that they're selling. And another reason why a person becomes homeless is because of their taxes. So a lot of middle class and lower class people, 75% of their income that they make from work goes to their housing and essentials, like essentials for living, like bills, water, food, and all that other stuff. So it's kind of hard to live off of 25% of your salary. That is not that much already because you're already in the middle lower class, and there's no chance for you to save some of that money for the future. So you're forced to spend it all on food and other things. And even if you have kids and you have to feed your kids, you have to put more of that 25% into your kids. In Goldberg's Economic Inequality and Economic Crisis, he says that extreme economic inequality is a violation of social justice, because what most of these higher classes are doing, instead of making jobs to help the lower classes and middle classes, they're making credit cards. And what this does is makes the middle classes and lower classes feel like they have money, but they end up having to pay everything back to those higher classes. So what ends up happening is those people in the lower class and middle classes become in debt to the higher classes, which basically take their money, and which could lead a family to be homeless because of their credit card debt and all these other expenses. So basically, what I want y'all to know is that anybody can become homeless at any time. It's just a random act of God that someone will become homeless, but also the economic inequality that we live with today is a major factor, because who controls the economy is the higher class and the rich class. And the rich class always, instead of making jobs to help people in the lower class, they want to keep the rich richer and the poor poorer. And by doing that, they make credit cards for those lower classes, so that make credit cards for the lower classes, so then the lower classes get in debt to them. Any questions? Yes.
What do you think of the homelessness around downtown San Jose, like around our school?
Well, we got a bunch of crazy homeless people, but I feel like it's abundant because San Jose, we're in Silicon Valley. Everything's so expensive, so it's easy it's easy to become a homeless here in the Bay Area because everything's so expensive. So if you think about it, the pay here is actually pretty good for minimum wage. It's $16 an hour. But everything is so expensive. Like my friend lives in 27 North and he pays $1,300 a month. So a bunch of factors could lead into it. So if you're making minimum wage and you're making $16 an hour, it's gonna be hard to pay for housing, pay for your food, and pay for transportation to your job. So it's a hard reality to come to, but it's the reality we live in. Is because of these higher classes making credit cards and putting them into the middle classes and lower classes, we're always going to be giving money back to the higher classes. So none of the lower classes or the middle classes are able to become into the richer classes.